Hey everybody, Johnny B. Learn Pro Recording. You know, the site that not only shows you how to do some recording, but how to get paid for it. Hey, I got something awesome I want to share with you today. I'm going to talk to you about the different jobs and different roles in the studio, like engineer, producer, that kind of stuff. We're going to talk about that. We're going to break them all down. But first, I want to give you something free, my studio growth formula. This is a quick PDF. It's going to help you build, grow, and scale your studio into something that could possibly, I don't know, take over your day job money. Hashtag quit your day job. Just go to learnprorecording.com/studio growth formula. Go grab that. And if you guys are ready, let's run the intro. We're going to talk about the jobs in a studio. Let's go. So here we are. We're going to talk about the roles in a recording studio. So let's define some of the roles in a recording studio. So who does what? What kind of job? There might be some confusion as to the roles of jobs in a recording studio. Yeah, that's probably due to some of the roles overlapping with other roles, multiple people doing multiple roles. It does take a little bit of clarification to understand what role does what and who does what job, including like some of the roles are similar to others, but sometimes are performed by different people. Let's discuss what each role is and some of what is involved with each. So first we have an intern runner. It's usually a student or a trainee who works, sometimes without pay, at a trade or occupation to gain work experience. Now that is the definition. A studio intern or runner is precisely that. A student or trainee is hoping to learn an occupation or a craft that will be their career once they learn how jobs are done and they gain some experience in doing those actual jobs. An intern's responsibilities include cleaning, restocking the fridge, keeping the candles lit in the studio, things like that. A runner does pretty much the same, but he's also ready to go out and pick up stuff if asked. Coffee, sandwiches, equipment rentals, things like that, even drugs and alcohol. So the apprentice. The studio apprentice can be classified as an intern, but may prefer the term apprentice if they are paying to be in the studio as a student. Some learning platforms, like there's some college extension courses, some private specialty schools, they place their students in a working studio environment to learn how to work in a studio environment. That is a fantastic way to learn this craft. At the same time, we don't really call that person an intern. We don't expect that person to perform regular intern type duties. We refer to this person as an apprentice. We only expect that person to come into the studio and learn to gain experience without working like an intern simply because they actually paid to be here. Okay, the receptionist, super important. Most studios will have a receptionist who fields calls, emails, directs visiting artists to their appointments for their studio time. They may also assist the studio manager in marketing and administrative things like that. The receptionist is on the front line, man. This is the first person that anyone interacts when coming into the studio. This is a very important position and usually held by someone who wants to learn more about just engineering or assisting. This person may also want to learn more about how to actually run the studio. This person could sometimes be an intern or an apprentice, but usually the receptionist is a hired position. Assistant engineer. An assistant engineer will assist the recording engineer in the operation of the soundboard, other electrical equipment during the recording session, usually in the recording studio. They will assist in recording, editing, mixing, mastering, sound using specialized mechanical and digital equipment. While usually associated with music production, an assistant engineer may work in post-production for film or video, live sound, advertising, multimedia, broadcasting, game production. They assist the recording engineer with setting up equipment, recording tracks, mixing, things like that. The recording engineer will direct their work. The assistant engineer may also be responsible for helping to mix the recorded tracks into the finished product. The engineer. Audio engineering and sound engineering often are terms that are used interchangeably. However, most use audio engineer to refer to recording or studio work and sound engineer to cover like live concerts and events, things like that. An audio engineer can also be known as a recording engineer. Absolutely. So we have the recording engineer, the mixing engineer, and the mastering engineer. The same person may sometimes perform these roles, sometimes not. The recording engineer is the person that records the sounds using available tools such as microphones, preamps, compressors, EQs, things like that. The mixing engineer will then take all those recordings and blend everything together to a sound very cohesive and make sure that all the sounds work together to create the music or idea that the artist and the producer had in mind. The mastering engineer will then take that mixed version of the song or the work to make it bigger, fatter, wider, louder, and use specific tools to enhance an already great sounding piece. The studio technician is a person employed to look after technical equipment and or do practical work in a laboratory technician. An expert in the practical application of science, a person skilled in the technique of an art or craft. Liszt was one of the greatest piano technicians of all time. The studio technician is usually responsible for keeping everything working and working correctly in the studio. They might be really good at repairing gear and fixing cables, soldering, things like that. And they might have access to like a tech room where they keep all the tools and the parts and the pieces in case things break down on the day-to-day usage of said gear during the recording process. This person may also have an assistant or an apprentice learning the art of being a studio technician. The musician and the artist. The musician is a person who plays a musical instrument, especially as a profession, or is musically talented. The artist, a performer such as a singer, actor, dancer. The musician and the artist are crucial to the recording studio. Without these people, we would have nothing to do. The artist and the musician are who and what we record. They play and sing the music that we as engineers try to capture as best as we can to represent the ideas and thoughts of these musicians and artists. Studio manager, a person responsible for controlling or administering all or part of a company or similar organization. Whether you're running a one-room outpost or a bustling big city complex, studio managers are responsible for a recording studio's smooth and profitable operation. Their widely ranging duties can include from coordinating with artists, producers, managers, labels to schedule recording sessions, hiring and supervising engineers, assistants, and other technical or creative staff, helping to select the studio's equipment, and critically, marketing the studio to potentially new clients. The studio owner. While a small studio owner may stay closely involved with the studio after the setup, even working as a recording engineer or manager, owners of a large studio typically assume a more hands-off role, networking in the record industry and utilizing those connections to attract new clients, as well as approving all of the studio's major financial decisions. They also oversee the studio's continued growth, which means finding new investors, planning the construction or purchase of new spaces, potentially developing the studio's marketing or branding strategies. The producer or executive producer. The producer is a person who supervises the making of a musical recording, especially by determining the overall sound. This is a record producer. A music producer or a record producer manages the studio recording process for bands, singers, or other musicians. Their main duties might include directing recording sessions, managing recording budgets, providing a clear direction and vision for artists and audio engineers to follow for each project. The executive producer usually is the person paying for everything. This can be the same person as the producer. They might sometimes be referred to as the label executive, the finance person, the money guy, things like that. And they are responsible for getting things done and making a profit from the project. Now, the other side of that is a beat maker. Okay? As the name implies, the word beat maker refers to a producer or a maker of musical beats, particularly in the hip-hop or rap industry. The beat maker and the producer are different roles, but in some cases can be the same person. Let's not confuse these roles. The producer makes the record happen. The beat maker produces or makes the beat. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. For more information, please reach out. You can email at info@learnprorecording.com. Thank you again for listening, and we will talk to you on the blog post on Wednesday. Have a great weekend, everyone. Donnie B, I am out of here. Peace.